What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Ergo's weekly dev update. Today is January 9th, 2022. Let's dive into it. Anon 2020S is taking the custom app kit from the mixer and is merging it with the regular Ergo app kit. That will add optional proxy connections between clients. Next, we have Apextheory, who's been working on the NepoPal proof P2P messaging. And it looks like Alex has done another review for the interlink batch Merkle proofs. And that's going to get patched. After that, we have David Money. He's been working on the Ergo Explorer. Looks like he's currently resolving a couple of issues and has made some PRs for review. It looks like he's also updating documentation and adding some tests for setup for the repository. After that, we have Luivatra. Looks like ErgoPad has been eating his time, which is good to see. He's created a simple contract for ensuring the correct exchange between the buyer of a token and the seller. Looks like he's also created a multiple contract setup, allowing for tokens to be vested, ensuring that early investors in a project can't rug everybody and pull out their tokens, dump them all at once. It looks like the token and time is composable, so it can be reused for any token that ErgoPad launches. And looks like that's going to be reviewed by Alex as well. Looks like he's also playing with a staking setup for ErgoPad tokens. It'll have a fixed emission period with 320 million tokens being distributed to stakers evenly over 36 months. So those of you that are interested, you may want to dive into these contracts, take a look. Next, we hear from MHS. The Susi team is back to work, and they are reviewing the updates that MHS did to the wallet and bridge. It looks like the integration process is started, so hopefully we will see the bridge with Solana here pretty quickly. Now, it does look like that's going to start with USDT. The Susi team is going to put their token into the Ergo ecosystem. And then I believe there's a plan to get some of the, let's call them blue chips, tokens with a lot of depth, liquidity from Solana, and open the gate to bring those into the Ergo ecosystem. So that's going to be a big step. Nice to see. Pragmaxim's been busy. He was improving how we use collections in a few places. I haven't really dug through these updates from Pragmaxim, so I'm not 100% sure what they're about, but I'll look afterwards. Next, we hear from Mr. Stahlfelge. Looks like he's working on the Ergo wallets, as usual. He's completed the derived addresses and wallet details on iOS. It looks like the next version will be published pretty quickly. That's still in test flight. In order to have a crypto wallet on iOS, we need to have what's called a DUNS number, a DUNS number. That requires banking to be set up, and a couple other things that we're working on kind of the commercial backend. We did incorporate in Singapore, but that also comes with kind of additional tasks that are being worked out, and hopefully we'll be able to pull that into the main Apple Store at some point in the future. It looks like he's ready to include Ergo Improvement Protocol 25. We'll see whether that's done this update or next. Looks like ErgoLearn is starting their courses. So those of you that are interested in hopping on, learning about smart contracts in Ergo, how they work, about extended UTXO, please take a look. Next we go to Morphic. He's still working towards the finalization of version 5.0. Looks like testnet testing is done. Looks like we're going to have 10 pull requests which are ready to review. Looks like Alex is going to dive through those and potentially leave some comments. We'll see where that ends up. I know that he's also been working with a couple of PRs in the community and helping out with a couple other Ergo Foundation activities. Next up, it looks like we'll see a blog post and a new version of the app kit. So, good deal. Let's see, what's Alex been up to? We have a new client interface. I believe that's out at this point, 4.0.2. It looks like he's also profiling for CPU memory bandwidth usage improvements. So we're going to see some networking improvements. Looks like he's reviewed a couple of PRs from Sigma. He's looking at the GetBlock smart contract. It looks like their smart pooling contract is pretty close to coming live, which is a major growth, big accomplishment. You know, the ability for miners to independently pool is something that I think really pushes what proof of work is capable of. You know, GetBlock is bringing some fresh ideas to a pretty stale space. So that's really nice to see. It looks like he's also reviewing the ErgoPad vesting contracts and is also helping out with ErgoLend. So Alex is kind of the community auditor at this point, as well as working on the node and helping out with stablecoin design and a couple other things. So he's a busy guy, but I know that when he codes, that's when he's happy. So that's always good to see. Looks like we have a new developer that's working on the Dexy design, and we will have a tutorial from ScalaHub about authenticated data structures. I'm not sure when that's going to be ready, but definitely something to look forward to. Looks like greenhat and the Sigma Rust crew have been busy. It looks like they've finished NepoPal proof verification, finished Merkle proofs. Looks like they're working on an async Rust Swift foreign function interface and trying to set things up in a way that will be maintainable in the long run, which is the way to go at this stage in the game. Let's see. Code for Us has some updates in the Dexy contract. It looks like ScalaHub reviewed those, and he's working on liquidity pool and swapping code for Dexy. Captain Nemo from Nautilus Wallet has been testing the sync engine for the new wallet that they're putting together. Basically how wallet syncs with the history of the blockchain. Looks like that's been going pretty well. And they are now working on transaction signing. It looks like if that goes well, we will have a public beta in 1 or 2 weeks. So that's pretty exciting to see. Looks like they're also going to be joining ErgoHack 3. It's a good time to give that a little plug. Those of you that are interested in privacy and security, we're having a little event on Discord, where developers get together and try to build neat things and solve problems. Privacy and security on blockchain is kind of an interesting problem. You know, privacy has kind of the network layer and then the actual blockchain layer, where you have potentially surveillance and tracking in kind of the network IP side. You also have the potential to track transactions, senders, amounts, and there's a lot of different approaches to creating privacy, both on the network layer and on the blockchain, that are being implemented in the space. Those are always something I find interesting to watch. So if you have some good ideas, feel free to hop on. It looks like they're going to be taking the Ergo Mixer's off-chain logic and building it in JavaScript with the goal of creating a framework that can plug into multiple wallets. So that's a pretty big lift for the ErgoHack. I imagine that team's going to be busy. It does look like Anon 2020S is going to sign up, help them mentor, let's say, refactoring and improving the off-chain logic. So let's see where that ends up. But that's a great thing to work on. Looks like Anon Burr, our Yoroi developer, has been investigating and fixed some issues with the dApp connector in the Ergo wallet. He's working on Yoroi's ledger bridge, while Tesseract is continuing to review and debug ledger. Hopefully that's pulled soon. That's something, I think we all hoped at this point would be done, but it's something that you just need to do right. So we'll deliver that when it's ready to protect users. If it's a liability for anybody, it's not worth pushing that early. Pragmaxim is tackling non-deterministic test failures due to randomness. That's been causing some issues. Looks like then he will be refactoring some of the actors for better testability. And that would allow for improvements over the request response pattern in the network. Let's see. Looks like our new guy that's on Dexy is checking into the best curve for the contract, and it looks like it's going to be the XY constant, same as Uniswap. Pretty common. Let's see. Looks like AggerGakker. I'm going to murder that name. I'm going to call him Augie. There we go. Augie's working on a smart contract that can automatically swap a payout to a miner through ErgoDex. That's pretty cool to see. For an example, you can get paid in Erg and then swap it out to SIG USD or potentially USDT in the future, or whatever. I guess whatever asset you want to try to set up that swap for. Ilya is working on the updated 2022-2023 roadmap for ErgoDex. They're researching different staking solutions to build on top of ErgoDex. The UI team is working on UI performance optimizations. And it looks like they're continuing to work on pool statistics, having that in a user-friendly presentation. Looks like Frosty from AnetaBTC has been continuing to play with the airdrop mechanisms. They've collected Ergo wallet addresses and are preparing for their first Neta airdrops. The majority of those will be distributed on Ergo initially. They're also working on on-chain analytics, dashboard for Ergo and Cardano stats. The core dev and research team has announced a partnership with Kyber Network, and they're currently advising AnetaBTC on wrapping Bitcoin, their experience and learning, as well as researching the best implementation strategies for bringing wrapped Bitcoin into the Ergo ecosystem. It looks like they're still working on successfully wrapping native Ergo assets on RenVM as well. Looks like they're going to be participating in ErgoHack 3. They've been building a foundation the last month and a half, and will start developing and open sourcing everything. It looks like the ErgoHack 3, they're going to take the wallet that Nautilus has been putting together with Captain Nemo, and they're going to be spinning that and creating a Neta wallet, a light wallet for Bitcoin that's wrapped and Erg. That's pretty cool. Power of open source right there. You can take something, build it, customize it a little bit, and kind of release it to a different purpose. So that's nice to see. It looks like LowKeyNerd has been working on a trading card game to facilitate digital ownership between players. They released their white paper and published their roadmap, which they expect to change up in the coming months. So it looks like this is more of a draft. So keep up to date on that, but certainly something interesting. They've discussed the feasibility of token packs or card token exchange on Ergo. Looks like they're going to be working with ErgoPad as a likely partner with them in February or March to implement the development necessary to accomplish account to wallet linking and other needs. Looks like they've created a base level website with a white paper. They've created placeholders across social media. They have a concept artist onboarded, a character designer onboarded. And they're in discussions with additional game developers. Looks like the game is going to be 205 general concepts, card abilities, character designs. That's interesting. So it looks like looks like they're still working on team planning and assembly, but it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. That's a neat concept. I think that definitely there's going to be some users that are excited to play around with games on blockchain. Glad to see that on the Ergo network. Looks like ErgoLend is working on the first part of processing transaction for funded lending, funded repayment, and refund lend. After that, they're going to clean up what they've built and get it on the test net, start running some tests. MGpai, Ergosapiens have been making great progress. Backend to track transaction and send NFTs nearly complete. It looks like they're going to use Haley PDL's ErgoPay API to supplement the tracking, and are currently working on a method for bulk NFT minting. AnonReal is making progress on the AuctionHouse backend. The new backend is necessary for future improvements and features, and will make the website a lot faster, which will be nice. Sometimes the AuctionHouse is a little bit slow to load. The UI is being integrated with a new backend. More progress has been made on ErgoTeam contracts. A new post about it will be released soon. Really looking forward to that. ErgoTeam is a pretty neat tool from the looks of it. So everybody out there, keep your eye open for the new post from AnonReal. Looks like he's thinking about improving the artwork Ergo improvement protocol to include future features with backward compatibility, and is doing some work and research for AuctionHouse tokenization. Next we get to GetBlock. It looks like they are fine-tuning the regional infrastructure to improve the P2P peers. I have seen that GetBlock has been spinning up a lot of servers in a lot of areas. That's really nice to see. Supporting smart contract code development on the testnet. They are working on the UI framework. They've added a dark mode based on machine settings. They're starting to pull live data via an API, and have added a graph library. So the UI is getting some improvements. It looks like the smart pool contracts are under their initial auditing. They've started and completed work on integrating smart pool data into the API. They've made some contract changes to address the transaction cost and efficiency. They've finished up the last few tests on testnet, and they have drafted the initial proposal for GetBlock IO vote tokens for Ergo Improvement Protocol 0027, which is the soft fork. It looks like GetBlock is actually creating a mechanism that gives miners more of a democratic vote, which is great to see. Looks like we may see the framework for the GetBlock tokens soon. They've started development bounties for translations. So those of you that are able to add new languages and support, you might want to reach out if you're interested in helping the network. Next, we hear from ErgoPad. It looks like they are working on an updated Ergo improvement protocol for artwork, and are designing some stuff in tandem with AuctionHouse functions that hopefully can create some collaboration in the future. It looks like Noah has put in some pull requests to Dimitri for Sigmaverse to be updated. And we hear from Punksnotdead. He said, "Hi guys, is anybody working on a mixing yield platform?" Gets into potentially building liquidity pools to fund the mixer. And that's definitely something we should look into for ErgoHack 3. I think we can do a lot building on top of the mixer. That's something that is really in the early days. So that covers it for this week's dev update, guys. I hope everybody had a good time, learned a little bit. Thanks for watching.